Welcome to Patrick Roberts, Our New Timeline.
Hey y'all, how's it going? This is Patrick Roberts, Our New Timeline. Been around for a while, looking pretty good as it go along as the years go by. And I wake up in different timelines. I think I have to be, because shit's getting really fucking weird. Shit is getting weird. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know about this realm, these people. Good evening, Cammy. And as always, the link is out there. Rick was supposed to join me in a few minutes. He's supposed to come on, but anybody is welcome. So New York is mandating the giggles. Everybody's got to get the giggles to have some fun, right? Or even to make money. We're not too far from that pass that you're gonna need to show that you've had the giggles. Hey, Crunchy B, welcome. We got Crunchy B, Prelim, Cammy in the house. But you're going to have to get the giggles. Get the damn giggles to do anything. Yeah, I heard the military was mandating the giggles. Yeah, that's getting crazy. Military is gonna just walk away. I hope they do. I hope they just fucking walk away. Here's Rick.
What's happening?
Hey Rick, how's
Everyone?
it going?
It's going good. Good. Yeah, ain't going bad. Can't complain.
Good.
It's everything. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. You know, I just when I heard that they were mandatory, well, some restaurants anyway were saying if you don't have the vaccine, you can't come here.
No, we don't call it back.
I know, I forgot, but yeah. Sorry, Pat. Yeah, that's where it was like, I don't know. So it's just
They're mandating the giggles.
tools. Yeah,
Uh,
that's
they
it's in my mind. It was definitely going to happen because when everything first happened, that's the first thing that he had said. And why, when I should say, ever has the president of a country ever told the people that its own military was going to be turned on it?
yeah.
That's they don't push that type of fear. They won't tell you that. Like they don't. That's I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. You can see right through all the bullshit.
But that's
Um,
the sad thing, Pat, is they can't. That's the thing. They're not.
I
That's
know.
that's that's the frustrating part, man.
I
Like,
I
yeah,
I
I
won't.
see. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, it's now. the things on the face or whatever, but it's getting out of hand because I'm seeing them on little kids now, even more prevalent than it was before because of this new strain or whatever the hell you want to.
I'll tell you
And
what, I went shopping today and I I had to have a friend take me because I don't have a vehicle right now. So I get in there and do my shopping and I'm done before my friend. So I sit down and wait. Um and this guy and his wife come in and they're wearing a diaper over their face. And they walk up to the greeter that when you walk in, they ask you for a mask, which, or ask if you want to put a mask on, which when I did walk in there, she said, well, it's not mandated right now, but
you know,
you should wear a mask because the mandate's going to come pretty soon. And I'm like, nope, don't want a mask, never will. Well, you'll have to when the mandate comes.
yeah,
I'm like, nope,
yeah,
never did, never will. So anyways, so I'm done. Okay, so this guy, he's an older guy, comes in with his wife, and he starts telling the greeter that she needs to make sure that everybody wears a mask. And the greeter said, well, it's not mandatory yet. And he said, I don't care. You need to start right now making everybody wear the mask. And I,
no,
I overheard, I overheard this.
yeah,
So,
yeah, no problem. No, no, no. Some guy just pulled up on me, asked me if I was security. I'm sorry, Pat. Sorry, sorry.
so, so I overheard it, and I purposely wanted to fuck with him, and I said, you know, sir, you don't have to wear that thing on your face. And he's like, what? I said, you don't have to wear that. And he's like, well, I'm trying to get everybody to wear it. You do have to wear it. And I said,
No,
nope,
it does nothing.
never, never will, never have. And he just looked at me and he's like, you're the reason I'm here. I'm like, woo.
And you should have said, "Well, you're the reason I'm here."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should have told
So we meet up.
him. There can only be one.
The
Yeah,
Vaxxer
yeah,
against the
yeah.
unvax.
You're the reason I'm here. Yo, on the Wawas, right? We have two new signs. They're up. Like they took the mask sign down a while, like I'd say like a month ago here. They weren't in a lot of the doors. But now at the Wawas, they're back up and they're up with another sign, and that sign is October 1st, how they're doing away with plastic bags.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
so yeah, this is my plan. On October 1st, I want everybody to tie a plastic bag around their face and walk into stores with the plastic bags around their face.
Now, why would we want to do that?
I don't know. It's just for a fucking joke. I don't know. Mock them. You know, because who knows? It's just as well as wearing a mask, right? Because we know the masks do nothing. It's like protecting yourself from a mosquito with a chain link fence. It ain't gonna happen. It just
Right.
ain't gonna happen. It even says it on the side of the boxes itself. Does not prevent against influenza.
Right. Yep.
Right? I
Yeah,
showed
that's,
somebody that in Walmart. I walked up to a Walmart employee with the box and said, "Can you read that for me?" And they read it. And no, they looked at me like, "Wow, then why are we doing this?"
hmm.
It was like an instant wake up, and hopefully it stuck with her, and she's
Yeah.
not wearing that, but she's gonna wear it because Walmart's making her wear it. Just like all these companies are mandatoring everybody to get the giggles. They're not leaving it. The government doesn't have to mandate it
Right.
because the companies are going to mandate it. If you want to work here, you'll take this. And everybody's going to be like, well, what do I do? I can't work. Well, then don't fucking work.
You
I
know,
have,
I
you
heard
know,
somewhere along the line from a birdie somewhere that if you really look at it, for the past year, they really haven't had like footballs coming back around. They really haven't had people in the stands.
oh
So
no.
how are they making these millions of dollars to pay their players? You
Oh, they're
know,
still making. You
you,
gotta
you
listen.
know,
You know that the rich are still making their money,
this
Pat.
is the way you tell that it's not about the money. It's about the agenda now. They're
Right. It's
all
the
they're
control.
all about the agenda now.
Right. Right.
And they're putting everything you can see them put everywhere. Everybody's coming out and talking about how they're getting the giggles and you should get the giggles. And oh my god,
Stop saying that.
what are you getting the giggles?
Yeah, I'm getting the giggles. Stop.
Oh my god.
The giggles. The giggles.
They're really gonna make it they're really going to try to make it hard on
Oh, it's going to get hard, Pat.
on
Yeah, it's
us
definitely going to
unvaccinated.
get hard. There ain't
Or
no doubt about it. There
boy.
is no doubt about it. It's already getting hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the like I didn't like the sudden comeback of the masks over the week. I didn't. I really
Oh,
didn't.
it's moving faster and faster.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
definitely, definitely.
I
It's
didn't think they would bring it on. I didn't think they would start this shit until like October.
and I've been seeing a lot of things that August. I mean, I think I'm seeing them because my birthday's in August.
Did
That
you hear
August is the month of like it's gonna change your. I'm
did
seeing a lot of that.
did
But
you
August, go ahead.
did you hear Biden announce or he sent his sympathies to the president of Trumpia, who passed away. His last name's Trumpka. Trumpka. Trumpka.
No, no, I didn't
He
hear that.
had President Trumpka. Can you see the programming in what? And Biden gave him his condolences, and they had to make sure they put that President died. President Trumpka died, and I'm just,
Wow.
oh my.
Wow. Wow.
So what
Yo,
are they?
that's crazy.
What are they trying to program? So everybody has the thought that President Trump died. The
That's all they
sheep,
have to do is
the
plant
mind
the
hive,
seed. That,
yeah,
Pat, you know that.
the
It's
hive,
just that
the
seed
hive
being
mind
planted.
starts to think that way,
Right.
and
It's
then
over with. It's done. It'll get out of control. It's over and done with.
yeah,
It'll be the way. It'll be it. It's
I'm,
sick. Now, you would
I'm,
think,
I'm
you would
seeing
think,
people that are happy with this new normal. They're happy with this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, when I showed, I seen a meme on Facebook and it was about the giggles saying how the one company saying, "Oh, we may need a third booster because enough people didn't get the giggles."
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I showed it to them, and then I said, they're blaming the extension of this this comedy show on the Christians that won't get the giggles.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn religion and this and that. And I thought he was actually playing around, Pat. Like I thought he was playing around. And I was like, then I seen that he was like really serious. And I said, so wait, I said, so you want the giggles? Oh, I got it. And I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
He's, well, why not? I said, well, not even 1% of the population has the giggles or
Yeah.
have gone to the giggles or whatever, however, and he was like, no, my so and so got and I said no, but they didn't go of that. They went of other gigglelituses.
Mhm.
And he just like he rolled up his window, get away from me. Get away. I don't want to hear no more. Get away, get away. And I wouldn't stop. He rolled up his window and he took off in his car. And I was like, wow, he was really serious. But I wasn't stopping. Like once he said, like, get away from me. What? You don't want to know the truth. Is that it? Because
Right.
I'm not going to bullshit you.
Right.
I'm really not. You could look at everything I tell you, and it may not be exactly what I say, but it's going to be close to it.
Yeah. Hey, welcome,
Maybe
Mandela Mile.
some things have changed. And Pat, hold on. I want to go share this link somewhere. All right. So
Okay.
I'll be a minute.
So
Okay.
anybody, I don't know. I don't know. You see people that have gone on the how against. I'm even seeing people that they've been against the vax. They've been against the giggles for ever. So now they're for it. And now they're not only for that, they used to be like, a constitutionalist where protect your rights and stuff. Now, therefore, you need to get the giggles, or I'm not going to hang around with you anymore. I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. So we're being shunned also on top of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be just to see the way that old guy attacked, I mean, I see it, the programming right now is they're blaming non-vaxxers for killing grandma, killing killing your kids. Non-vaxxers are killing your kids, but there's more unvaxxers than there are who are getting it. I believe. I totally believe that. Um, I mean, I've seen a lot of people get it, so I don't know. Sometimes I'm in a reality where there's a lot of people that don't get it, and then sometimes I'm in a reality that I see everybody get it. Pretty much everybody that wears the damn diaper over their face, they're the ones that are all going to get it. And I guess Rick is trying to come back in. I don't know where you are, Rick. You're not coming in, Rick. I don't even see your photo, man. Are you coming in? Are you coming in? Now he disconnects. Ankle surgery can cause a pulmonary embolism. That's new for me. Or is it a cover for the giggles? I think it's a
No, we're
cover for
not,
the
right?
giggles. I think Rick is. I don't know if there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. Are we live?
There he is.
Yeah,
There
I'm
he
here.
is. There he is. Yeah, I see you. We all see
Okay.
you now.
You're like, I'm not there. I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait, I'm here. So then I left real quick and I came back and I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Yeah, I
So,
thought I could do something. I can't do it. No big deal. No big deal.
yeah, hold on.
There's been um some trouble and like I've been seeing a lot of news vans around my neighborhood. And we had
Oh,
some
really?
yeah, we
News,
had
yeah.
some graffiti down at the park where I sit. Like someone came down there and wrote some racial slurs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the N word. It looked like someone was trying to act like they were a teenager, like it was an adult trying to act like a kid. You know,
Yeah.
like spelling things wrong on purpose and uh I don't know, like just trying to throw them off of who they really were. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I find it
So, get this. I was just reading a news article that they're gonna show we're gonna start losing workers in the hospitals, so
to
people are gonna start getting frantic that they're
right.
not getting hospital care. Listen to this: more than 500 hospital workers contract COVID and are quarantining in Louisiana. CEO says.
Wow. Are
One
you
of
kidding
one of
me?
Louisiana's largest hospital systems is down more than 500 employees who
Yeah.
are out. Yeah.
Wow. 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 Well, have you heard about this whoops all these cops that are committing suicide now
No, I haven't heard
because because of the so-called these are the so-called cops that were protecting the White House during the rampage, the insurrection. I guess we shouldn't even be talking about that, huh? But
that.
yeah, I seen that in the news how there are supposedly 6 officers that committed suicide over racial slurs and things that were said to them when
Mm,
they were protecting during the inner siege or the insurrection or
the
whatever that word
insurrection.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I think that's like If you believe that they're real, and I don't see why you would kill yourself over people calling you names. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they got a lot of weekended cops out there, I guess. Or
Who's that,
what would you
Cammy?
call them? Yes.
Um,
Cammy is here to talk about kitties.
Cammy and the kitty. Kitty and the Cammy.
I'm
Cammy and the
throwing
kitty.
off your algorithm since there's been a few slips, and I'm hoping if we show enough kittens, maybe that'll throw it back in.
Oh,
Because dear old Cammy gets me strikes every time she talks about the giggles. So we now only show kitties
Cammy and the
on.
kitty. Cammy and the kitty.
I've been cooking dinner, so I've been unable to join until now.
So
Still cooking.
how's it over there in Canada?
I hear Manitoba's opening up. Most everybody here, we already have like that herd immunity amount giggled. And so they have a hard time maintaining tight control without everybody going, why? And now they're talking about the L
Delta.
giggle. And
sorry, fuck.
Oh, the lambda?
yeah. And how it's resistant. And I'm like, or is that your way of admitting that it doesn't work?
They don't know. They don't know what they're trying to. They don't.
They wouldn't actually do that, so they just come up with one that is resistant.
Oh, I'm sorry. The lambda is actually the next virus that's coming after the delta. When they've run delta out and got as many people giggled.
Lambda by both and can be caught by both, giggled and non-giggled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just gonna keep going and going. Hey, Catherine.
Giggle mania, people, get ready for Giggle mania. The Walking Dead don't need shoes and sneakers, people.
I'm just watching for what's next. Don't mind me, I'm cooking, so you have to watch me come in and out of screen.
So what are you cooking?
Spaghetti.
What's cooking?
Chicken?
Spaghetti.
What is
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Ooh, that's one of my favorites.
Spaghetti.
You're making me hungry.
I probably put way too many veggies in it for you.
I don't care. I'm really hungry right now.
Do you ever have meat when you make your meatloaf, right? When you make meatloaf next time, shred some vegetables in it.
Well, when I get meatloaf, I just get it from my work because it comes made in store for fairly cheap.
But does it have vegetables in it?
No, I just side it with vegetables.
It's good when you like shred my wife would shred carrots, zucchini. She would put all kinds of vegetables in it.
Oh,
like shred the vegetables. Shred the vegetables with the
celery, meat. Onions, peppers, garlic.
You making me hungry.
Hamburger, and now I'm doing tomato paste and so, along with tons of spices, of course.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that.
In a minute, to balance out on
yeah,
you may need a lot of.
You gotta have the garlic bread with the spaghetti.
Just bought a big loaf of French bread, and I'm making fresh garlic butter.
Mmm. Yum, yum.
Parmesan cheese.
Gotta have
I'm gonna
bread.
miss all them. I'm gonna miss all them good foods.
I work
I
at a
miss them
really
already,
cheap
man.
store that has all the organic stuff like on sale all the time. It's usually cheaper
You'd be
stuff.
getting used to it now. So when you don't have it, you don't care.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I'll miss.
I'm not going to miss much because until we actually go, I have the ability to self-sustain most of this. My tomatoes, we plucked one today. Most of my seeds are stored.
Yeah.
Can't do it here in my condoplex, but I can plant and grow. And there's such a thing as called microgreening, which takes 10 days to crop. Every 10 days, you can have fresh greens grown, which is often enough to keep you healthy.
Healthy schmelthy. Who wants to be healthy?
Me, because when you're healthy, they can't make you sick. But you have to eat healthy, natural.
They can't make you sick anyway.
They can make your body sick if they work hard enough at it. Now, whether they can keep it sick is another issue. And whether you'll go into the doctor is another issue. Like,
Oh,
that I then figure out what the problem is and correct it. The few times I've gone in to deal with the doctors, they've not gone very.
I don't deal with doctors no more.
And people think I'm crazy. Like I had a horrible grease burn on my foot, blistered my whole foot, like big blister all the way over my foot this high.
And you didn't go
Had
to
the
the
doctor
doctor.
a flip flop. Didn't go to a doctor. I went to the Mayo Clinic website and went to the burn specialist, read how they would treat it, and did it at home, which is not what my hospital would have done, by the way. And it does not even have a scar. Nobody can tell I burnt my foot.
Right.
And well, it was very simple changes. Do not put it in cold water and do not pop your blister.
Right. Well, yeah, it's kind of like me with the cut that I have on my foot. When I went to get help, I was refused because I wouldn't put on a mask, and I just took care of it myself.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how's that
I still have a little hole in my foot, in my toe. There's still a little hole, but I mean, I'm still alive. I still have my foot. You know,
aren't you supposed to be?
I will say this. I'm having new pain in my whole left leg, though, but I think that's from my sciatica nerve. I don't know what that's from. It could be radiating from the toe. I don't really know. I don't. I'll be honest.
Aren't you supposed to be on diabetic medicine?
Well, yeah, I stopped my insulin about a year ago.
Yeah,
you
I remember.
Stop your insulin as long as you stop your sugars and your starches.
Well, I didn't.
And switch them for good fat. And that's from the leading diabetic
doctor. I didn't really do any changes to anything except stop jabbing myself at night with that insulin. That's all I stopped.
Yeah, well, then you're not necessarily doing much favors to your inside, which will eventually, you will discover your feet will tingle and go numb. And that's a precursor to losing your feet.
Tammy, when I was shooting, when I was taking the insulin, that was already happening. I was already having neuropathy in my feet and all that. You can
stop all of that by just cutting out starches and sugars, which suck, I know, but replacing with good fats, which is a lot of like sauteed mushrooms, but it has to be in real butter, in real olive oil, in real coconut oil, and you get to have a lot of really
Starches.
yummy things, but you just have to replace your starches with it, which suck because that's potato chips, potatoes, and then sugars. A lot of things have sugars in it.
Yeah.
A little bit of an adjustment, but you get to have a lot of meat, which is cool. And a lot of fat, which is cool because if you're ripping out a starch, you have to replace it with something, and fats are a really yummy thing.
Yeah, but they're doing away with meat. They're doing away with all that stuff.
No, they're doing away with it. We know how to get meat real easy. You just have to not listen to them necessarily. And by the way, your best source of meat is eggs. So if you can, before it's illegal, if you're available to, find a piece of property or a place to have some chickens. And if not, know somebody who has a place who has chickens. Second best place, buy their eggs. Egg is the easiest proper protein for your body to create proper proteins with. And it can do it better than anything else.
How about pickled fish?
Pickled, I love pickled eggs, man. Is that what you said?
Pickled is good for you, which is
pickled eggs
awesome. So like pickles, pickled asparagus, all that, sauerkraut and shit, all good for you.
I said pickled fish.
Oh, pickled fish. My brother used to
herring.
pickle
Fish is also good for you. If you can get your hands on fish, yes. I just didn't know how many were near the coast and they're trying to clear the coast. So
I just bought some today.
They killed the oceans, though. They killed them. The oceans are dead.
No. They're sick.
The Pacific Ocean's dead, man. It's dead.
I live on the Pacific Ocean and I can produce food out of it right now.
Compared to what it used to be like. I don't live there.
It's not healthy. It's sick. It, however, will not fully go, I don't believe, until it's meant to. I think if you know what you're doing. Just a lot of people don't know what they're doing. It's sort of like when they go clam digging, you see a lot of people with shovels. And I've never had to use a shovel to dig clams in my life. I use 2 buckets. One for your crabs, and you fill it partially full of water, but nowhere near so they can climb out. And then you get another bucket and you fill that full of water and you walk up to where you're going to dig and you pour in the little holes that they breathe out of with water and they will come up to the surface on their own and then you can grab them. Why dig when they can dig?
And back in the news, COVID is here. Louisiana mom pleads with community as daughter 20 is put on a ventilator. Joseph Morgan doesn't want another parent.
That's Nico.
Why?
You said the C word, so we have to put a kitty on air.
So here's more propaganda they're throwing out to scare.
That's so wrong, man.
To scare the parents into getting their kids
vaccinated. I'm sorry, Pat. I go.
Oh, what a kitty! Kitty.
Kitty.
That was for mentioning the C word. I thought I should put one on.
Pretty kitty. Pussy.
Oh, I'm so sick of being like.
Yo, I'm trying to go around it. I'm like, they really like cat videos. I mean, they keep saying YouTube was built for cats.
Listen,
you don't know what
when I went, I want to speak. Hello. Let me speak, please.
Go ahead.
Listen, I this morning, right when I went to my clinic, okay, there's an uptick, like I said, in the masks at the clinic. All right, now 6 o'clock, there's like 10 people that line up there, so they can get their dose and go to work. All right, and now normally out of that like 10 people, you would see maybe 4 of them in masks. Everyone just about was masked up besides me and maybe 2 other people. And I started talking to the dude, Mark, about his mask. how he's not helping himself. It's a false sense of security. Um, it's giving you false sense of hope when it's not helping you at all. It's actually hurting you. And he didn't want to hear it. And then he got to a point. I said, "What? You don't want to hear the truth, or you don't want to hear, what I'm saying?" And even though it was the truth, but he said, "I just want to stop talking about it." And I got to the point where I was tired of talking myself. So I left. But I came back 2 minutes later. I didn't go far. I was right out front because I'm one of them people that want to get my dose and go about my day. And I walked back in, and he's still talking about it. When he said he wanted to stop talking about it, he was still talking about it to these other people. So it was like
He wanted to hear what he wanted to hear. He only wanted to hear.
He only wanted to hear what he had to say. He didn't want to hear what nobody else had to say.
Right. That's right. He got around more people that think like him, so it reassured himself that he was on the right track.
Right.
Yeah, because we're nuts to them.
They're wrong though. I can't see how they can see that they're right when they know when they put that thing on that they're hurting themselves. Like you have to know because it hurts you automatically.
Hey, Bill Stigman, what's up?
I don't get it. Get it? Like I said, it's got to be it's a spell. It's got they're brainwashed or something. They got to be. It has to be a giant.
Sure, you got to put that white bread in front of me, don't you, Cammy?
White bread. Don't be racist here, Pat. Yeah, I was feeding. I was feeding the ducks the other day. I sit down the river, right, and I'll feed the ducks. And someone came up to me and asked me if they could feed the ducks too, like they were my ducks. Yeah, they were like, "Can I feed the ducks?" Like, I don't know, can you? Like, yeah, they're not mine, man. Sure, feed them. And when you got to walk down, sometimes you got to walk down a lot of rocks to get to the ducks.
Maybe he wanted to see.
They couldn't walk down the rocks, so they were actually throwing bread at me and not the ducks.
So where are you staying now?
I'm still the same spot, Pat. I stay at my clinic, the parking lot at my clinic, or down the river. I still drive around somewhere, go here and there. I started.
If you don't mind me asking, what are you on at the clinic?
Weed.
What are they?
Smoking weed.
They give you
what
weed?
do you mean, what am I on? Methadone. I'm detoxing off of methadone. My clinic is methadone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, my clinic, I go to methadone. I'm detoxing off of it, though.
Do you actually have a script for weed?
No, I don't have my medical marijuana card, but I can get one.
Oh, okay.
I'm smoking medical marijuana, though.
Yeah.
The shop's right around the fucking corner, Liberty. It's supplying the whole fucking Northeast.
Yeah, I wish we Oh, I'm hearing feedback.
Sorry.
What'd you do?
I went on someone just messaged me and I went to go message them back.
Oh.
Sorry.
So do you park at a park? Or you said you go in a parking lot?
Yeah, I park wherever, Pat. It don't matter. It really don't. Like no one bothers me. No one bothers me. No. No, they all know. All the cops know just about who I am. What I mean, all that they have to do is run my tag, and they see the tag is in the neighborhood that I normally am in.
Yeah.
So they don't fuck with me. I mean, the home that this car's registered is right around the corner. It's in the Northeast. So why would they fuck with me?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know
don't want
because I
play with
see you
the
in your
only time the only time they played with me is like I told you, was that one time was down the river, and that was because someone knew me. Someone knew me and didn't like how I was portraying myself, I guess, down the river. They didn't like the music I was playing. That's when by what I say by portraying, and they didn't like it, and so they called the cops on me. They knew the sergeant, and they were like, "Look, Bob, I want you to bust his balls, try and scare him or something." I don't know, because they said they got a call on me because my music, which is bullshit, because my music is nowhere near loud as half of the people down there.
right.
And why are you coming to me? Like, within 5 minutes, you're gonna say you're gonna come to a call of a loud radio down into a park within 5 minutes, two of yous? No, that's not gonna happen, you know. And again, how they rolled up on me, I felt like someone was going to jail. Like they had intentions on taking someone to jail. And I know that feeling because it's happened to me before. So I know, what that feeling's like. And I know when I'm not going to be arrested. And I didn't think it
Uh,
was me being arrested. I thought it was my wife that was going to be arrested,
I'm
but it
gonna throw
wasn't.
I'm gonna throw you some more propaganda that because a lot of people are getting the giggles, they will have probably effects to that, and they're gonna put out there in the news that at least 7 states reports mosquitoes carrying diseases that can paralyze. Did you hear that?
No,
At
you're
least
breaking up a
seven
little bit
states
compared to
report.
what?
At least 7 states report mosquitoes carrying diseases that can paralyze humans.
Oh,
So it's
bullshit.
not.
What? So
Yeah.
they're saying what, malaria?
So
Malaria is coming back, right?
I don't know.
Ain't
They're
that
giving the
malaria that kills
doctors an
people,
excuse.
paralyzing?
They're giving the doctors an excuse to say something, that it's this and not the giggles that paralyze your ass.
Well, yeah, well, no, see, oh my
I've seen
goodness.
a
What are
lot
they
of
doing?
videos of people
Yo,
with
this is getting
neurologic.
too, I don't know what to,
Look at the
fucking kid.
cuties they want something to
Oh my
eat. They know right
goodness.
where to get it. There's the crock pot. Let's get it.
Kitties are on the pot. Kitties are on the pot.
Hey, it's hot up there. Get off there. That's
There.
funny.
Oh boy. Ah.
They were being cute. I had to share.
Hmm.
Yeah, hold on.
Well, you don't plan on
I'll
using
be
that
right
crock
back,
pot
Pat.
again.
I'm gonna leave for a couple of minutes. All right. I'll be right back.
No, don't leave. Um,
Oh no, you're all by
yeah, Cameron,
yourself.
you don't. Yeah. Hey, Melissa. So should I get into some more news?
You probably should, because I got to eat dinner, and so that'll fill in the gap while I'm not. Hi, Heidi.
Well, a man hospitalized with COVID-19 told CBS he'd still rather be sick than get a shot. And it shows how hard it'll be to convince everyone to get the giggles. Huh. I'm surprised they even aired that one. Let's see what else we got in the news. 20 hospitals laying off workers. Yeah, they're gonna make it so there's a hospital nurse shortage and doctors. So they can't do this and can't do that. Anthony Fauci drops more gloomy news about COVID-19 amidst the rising number of. Do we want to get into that article? Amidst the rising number of new cases. And it goes on and on and on. So, what did you say, Cammy? Are you going to hang out for a while, or?
I'm here. I just muted myself. You don't have to hear me eating.
Oh, I see. Let's see. COVID symptoms: headache, runny nose, sneezing, are now among the top 5 reported. Some giggled people are dying from. You know what? Here's the reason. Yeah, we don't want to look into that. Every single person in Maryland who passed of you know what in June was ungiggled. The pattern applies to other states too. Yeah, everyone who passed of you know what in Maryland in June was not giggled. Even more evidence that you know what giggled work to prevent severe diseases and death. So you get the giggles. Man, they're just scaring the shit out of people. Just fucking everything. Everything is about the you know what.
Yes, well, it's sort of like them panicking last ditch, throwing a Hail Mary, hoping something sticks. Think of it that way.
Yeah, I mean, even Maryland, 130 people passed of you know what last month, according to Governor Larry Hogan. 100% of them were ungiggled. 100%. Wow.
I'm curious as if anybody's ever called their bluff and said, prove it.
Yeah, it's like, look in your local newspaper. I mean, is there really a lot of people passing, you know, any more than usual?
No, they were
I
just
mean, they
actually
named it
announcing
just.
that worldwide it hit 200 million, which means it's 1/5 of the way from being nearly as deadly as one of the more virulent flus. And it took it
Yeah.
2 years to do what a flu could do in a year. well, 1/5 of what the flu can do in a year. So to me, that was not an ecstatically astounding number of.
Bill says A10 Thunderbolt lands on highway in Michigan. Wow. I'd love to see that. Should the giggled wear mask indoors as Delta variant surges?
I think the giggled should have to be in full hazmat suits to prevent themselves from spreading it anywhere. That's what I think should happen.
Yeah.
That's just me, wanting to be entertained.
Well, I
They
mean,
can all look like beekeepers.
yeah, that should keep them safe. If they're so
It would
fucking,
definitely keep them safe if they're that worried about it. Full hazmat suit. Come on now.
they didn't even put on a full hazmat suit when they were cleaning up the Ebola in the United States a few years back. Remember
And
when
think
they
about it this way,
supposedly Ebola got out on the streets and they were washing it down the sewers, and they didn't have any hazmat suits on at all. It's like, okay, guys, we want to believe that, don't we? Oh, and I wasn't making any sort of symbols there. I noticed that as I did it, I'm like, ooh, that's a symbol. I am definitely.
So, would it be bad if I wanted to dress up like the coronavirus for Halloween?
Yeah. I am definitely Jesus
It would be
Christ,
easy.
my Lord and Savior. What now?
It'd be easy to make a Halloween costume like that, but I think it would offend people.
Yeah, especially people who think their family member or whatever passed
Well,
away.
I'd be really mean. I would make myself a giant balloon thing to make myself look at the part, right? But then I would put like sticky little tiny thingies all over my balloon. And then I'd run up and touch people, and every time one sticks to them, I'd say, "You're infected," and I'd run away.
Yeah.
I think I'd get in trouble and arrested. But I just did that. That went through my head the other night and made me giggle.
I totally believe I woke up on another timeline again. I keep switching timelines because this is just getting so crazy and so fast.
And I don't really want to celebrate Halloween, but I can't think of another day where they'd allow me to dress up like the COVID virus and run around.
People in France are filling TE streets in protest. Yeah, I seen
Yes,
that.
they are. And the police and the military joined them, I heard.
Yeah,
which
some
was
have, yeah. Not
ours do that.
not the bulk of them, but some have. Because there was still a big bulk of them beating down protesters. At least I think that was France I was watching, or it was Germany, one or the other.
That would probably be the UN police.
Yeah. Supposedly we have UN here in United States of America in Utah. That's
You do. You have more than that. You have, apparently in 2020, surrendered your greatest Marine base to the UN. I was just watching something on that the other day, and somebody went, "What the fuck? This slipped right by us."
Yeah. Yeah,
but you guys surrendered one of your best defenses to the UN. So now your coastline on one side is just screwed. Because the UN has control, not you.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of figured that's how they would eventually roll things in. You know, eventually. I don't think it'll be for a little while though. Not until they got everybody droned up with the giggles. Then it'll become to sweep everything up. The UN will sweep right through here. Because they'll be like, give up your guns. Okay, here you go. Okay, here you go. We
They
must.
don't need you to give up your guns, which is why they've not been making an actual real attempt, and they're just sidetracking you with it enough to distract you because they're using every distraction in the book, and they're throwing every Hail Mary in the book.
Yeah.
And it's really a last-ditch panicked effort. So in reality, we should be rejoicing at this because that means they're so panicked that they're just trying everything to see if something will work.
Yeah, I've even seen videos where there's Chinese troops getting off in Canada up there. Yeah, and where else was it? I think Australia.
I've heard of a few different kinds. I've heard Chinese and I've heard Russian.
I didn't hear about any Russian, just the Chinese. They're just driving tanks right down the street of
Well,
somewhere.
think about it this way. Think of the main people you would not want to get together and then come and attack. And imagine what would happen if they were all being used on purpose by the UN over here. And they're going to use our people over on that side because you can't use your own people to police your own people. It won't happen. But you can use everybody else's people to do it and just keep the ones that would defend off.
Or they may just come through as soon as the Civil War kicks off. You know, I think we're definitely heading towards a Civil War. And who would ever think that the Civil War would be fought over the giggled and ungiggled? Because they are really putting a wedge. They're driving a big wedge in between the giggled and ungiggled. Pretty soon they're going to really have people thinking that because we're ungiggled, we are killing their relatives, you know, their kids or their grandma and grandpa. But on the other hand,
they better go hide so that they're safe.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think there's going to be a lot more ungiggled. I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks that way. Just the way they're fighting this so hard and trying to get everybody to get it, and I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to, hey, our government isn't what we thought it was. Or even the governments all around the world are doing the same thing to their people as our government's doing to us.
Yes, but that's because the government isn't the head of the pyramid. The government is like 2 or 3 levels down.
Yeah.
So of course they're all doing it because they're all following the same rules and instructions from the people in charge.
And
Who you've not really had to deal with.
And the presidents that didn't go along with it, they're the ones that are being killed.
Well, there have been entire countries where the leaders that didn't go along with this whole thing
Right.
are gone. 3 of them that I know of.
Yeah, I heard like 4.
I stopped paying attention after 3 because confirmation done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you pay attention too much, you can get caught up in it. So I try to glim over and see what's going on for a bit, and then I'll take a break and just live my life and do what you're supposed to do and love and grow and nurture and create And then I come back in and just dip and see, because you got to make sure that you know kind of what's going on, so you know when, and you either want to hunker down, go fight, run away. Like everybody's got their own whatever game plan they're going to do,
And
but you got to keep your.
I'm sorry. Mandela Miles says the giggle goes around and right hand and forehead in the stream. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Eventually, the giggle is like I think it's a precursor to the beast system, the rise of the beast.
Well, I think we're all going to end up with some sort of a mark, either forehead, hand, somewhere in that area, since that's what's suggested, to probably suggest whether you have been giggled or not giggled. And I think it's going to be what's going to allow you to buy and sell.
I hope that I mean people who are not giggled are basically saved, because we're not falling for this bullshit.
Well, that helps, but if you're an evil person that didn't get giggled, maybe not. But depends on each person, really. Like it's not any one thing that's going to get you in there. It's a combination of your life, and if you've learned your lessons, and or whether or not you're still like, screw you, kiss my
I know
ass.
sometimes I believe you have to have Jesus Christ in your heart. I mean, we all have the Christ. We all have Christ within us, but it's whether you accept him or not. That's what I believe. I think the giggle will fail at the race.
Well, I think because of the way it's going down, and the moment I saw that stuff coming out of Australia where they were catching people to force the giggles on them.
Do you think they are real, though? That could
I don't know. I've been waiting to try and get a hold of like somebody we know from down there, so that we can confirm, right? Because it's also probably only happening in small pockets to see how well it goes and whatnot.
I personally don't think that they can force it on you. I mean,
but that's the thing. If they are forcing it on, then it's not something that you will be judged by, because it has to be something that's your free will.
Totally right.
So I think that might be where you might get the 3 days of darkness from, because maybe the sun just like fits out, and remember that goes after everything electronic, so that might be able to mess with it. Hey, they want to use Wi-Fi and shit, right? So if they take out all of the electronics, what can they use Wi-Fi on it? It'll kill everything. We're not prepared for the sun to like just go boop and take all the electronics out. I mean, and it can do that at any time, just to have a fart or a burp or a hiccup, and we're fucked. Sorry for the language.
You know, my electronics have been running really weird lately.
The sun's been shitting up a storm. If you look at the Schumann residence, which I can send you a link to a guy who always has it up on his page, and you can go watch it, but it's been fitting up a storm lately, like for hours on end.
The human residence has?
Schumann resonance. It's the Earth's frequency that it's supposed to be running at, and it's been charting like off the charts, which when it does that can take out satellites and electronics and radio signals, and so that would mess with your internet and your cell phone service and and that's just from little things that are like little tiny spots you can barely see on the sun. I'm like, when they actually have one go off, like they're actually worried.
Do you really believe they have satellites out there? Like,
I think they have satellites in high Earth orbit, which would be inside the firmament, which they talk about, which I have it on my computer, which I will post into chat. At the end of one of the videos, it was a researcher on discovering something else, but at the end of it, they mentioned the firmament. And I was really shocked because it was one of their own program things where
I,
they're cramming a
I
lot of
think
shit in your face. And then they mentioned the firmament.
I think they got a whole system up there within Earth's orbit. They have
No,
a whole system. Like the moon is like probably a light bulb or whatever. They have to keep
the
changing.
moon is a cool light and the sun is a hot light. When you take a thermometer that reads temperature, you put it at the sun, it goes up. When you put it at the moon, it is colder than when it's in the darkness of night. It goes down by another degree. So the moon is cold light, which is not sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And that anybody can prove who has one of those digital thermometers that tests how hot it is outside. You just point it in the shade in the dark and you'll get a reading. And then you point it at the moonlight and it'll actually go down. Everybody's like, what? And so you can point it at like, just the night sky in the dark. And it's like, so it's not that you're reading a tree or the cement or something. You can point at the night sky out in space and then point it at the moon and it gets colder.
Right. Right. Basically, I think Giggle is basically the gene therapy, isn't it? With the mRNA. I wonder if that's got a rhythm yet. mRNA. I just said it twice now. PQRST. MLNS. You know what? That would be so cool if everybody who always comes to visit my channel knows how to talk in a special language like TLTKK4. And you all know what I'm saying. And nobody else gets it. 222-444-555-666. Oop. Oop. Yeah, we don't want that one. We gotta. That's like having room 13. We gotta get rid of that. But really, are them numbers really bad? Why did they pick it 6? 6. 6 sounds like a snake. 6. Or it sounds like sex. And sex is supposed to be like what do they call that when you're staring at a girl or something, just like staring at her, like you're not supposed to undress her with your eyes. That's like a sin. Lust. That's what I'm looking for. Lost. You cannot. Lust. I don't even know. I lost myself. I don't even know what I was talking about. I kept hearing people in evangelical community mention it like it was biblical, but it isn't. It was really big in 2017 around Revelation 12. Nonsense. What? It's really weird when you talk or even different people are on so many different levels. It's like a person could be woke to the Mandela effect or whatever, but if I see them wearing a mask, I'm like, they're not really woke yet. Because if you're wearing a mask and you're getting the giggles, do we know anybody that's gotten the giggles that's been Mandela affected? I'm sure there's some out there, huh? So then they're not totally, you know, I'm thinking, what am I missing? Am I missing something too? Like,
Maybe one of the things I saw that struck me as intriguing, last night late, was the fact that the majority of the giggle symptoms are also symptoms of radiation poisoning. Just so you know,
yeah,
the lack
interesting.
of breathing, the chest filling up with fluid, the getting sick with the stuff, the
But they're
loss
giving
of
them the wrong.
smell, taste.
I don't know. I don't know though. I don't think that's happening. I don't think the chest is filling up with fluids. Um, are you talking about the ones that get the giggles, or the one that got
Both,
the
because both can
virus?
be the same thing.
The ones that get the virus?
Yeah, either or, because I think
If
both are
the
going to end
lungs
up
are filling up
causing.
with, if
But
the
I'm not
lungs are,
saying it's giving you that. I'm thinking it's the
I'm saying,
V
listen, if the
is
lungs
the
are,
cover up for the
listen,
radiation from
if the
Fukushima,
lungs are filling up with
which is
fluid,
also a
do we
worldwide
not,
event.
do we not call that pneumonia?
Normally, yes, but pneumonia comes from many different things. Like you don't just get pneumonia, you get a
Right,
cold or flu, and then because it sits in your chest, it turns into an
right,
infection, which
right.
turns into pneumonia. Or you get cancer, and through your radiation treatment, something happens, your
right.
chest fills up with flu,
So
blah, blah.
now we're
There's
calling
always
it
another
all
thing that
COVID.
causes it. So
Now we're calling it all
now they're
COVID.
calling it, but I'm going, all of the symptoms are the same symptoms as radiation therapy, which
Right.
would happen if you've had Fukushima spewing off into the oceans for the last 10 years. Oh, wait, we have. And now they're calling it this instead of what they maybe should be calling it. And they don't want to panic everybody out because they can control everybody with it being a V. Whereas if they tell everybody the truth that you're getting sick because Fukushima has been making you sick, people are going to freak out.
Yeah.
And if they go after this video, we know that that might be a potential thing. Because we've been pretty careful for the most part without you read the news, and that's the only time you mentioned the actual thingies. So that shouldn't get you in trouble because reading the news is something they allow.
Yeah.
And by the way, when they do give you a strike, have you ever actually asked them to verify it? Because when they give you a strike, a computer gives you a strike and no visual
Oh
people actually go over it. Always question it and make somebody watch it because half the time they're wrong and they'll just put it back up for you and take
yeah.
off your.
No, I tried.
Yeah,
I
always
tried
do
to
that.
tell you.
And
They didn't
quote,
even take, they didn't even take an hour, and they came back with, not an hour, a day. I mean, not even a day, and they came back with no, you're getting a strike.
yeah, well, you were very careful today and only read news. So if they give it to you today, it's for what we just said. Because if they try and say it's for the news part, you can always quote the whole public source. Everybody's allowed to read the news, and I can list you umpteen billion people that they actually recommend that do the very same thing. Read off the
Yeah.
news. And so they can't actually do that to you without being a hypocrite. So
Yeah, the
don't
news.
let them pull that one.
The news app is called Newsbreak,
Yeah.
and
You just, always do the disclaimer of who actually said it and whatnot. This isn't me and voicing my opinion. This is what I'm reading it off of. This is so and so, so they can go after them if they really want to. Usually, when it's an accredited news source, they don't bother.
yeah, this
And
news
that's what
said,
you were reading. So, but
oh, I
yeah,
don't know. This is
my best guess right now as to what might actually be happening a little bit for the ones that actually maybe have got reacted, which of course the sickly would react first. But it would also cause the sterilization problems everybody's having, the extra heavy periods, like all of the symptoms fit when you look into radiation poisoning, which bother me a little bit, although I know we're still protected, so it's not like I'm fearful of it, but just the fact that it could be something so completely different, and then everything we're doing is not really going to help us unless what they're trying to actually giggle everybody with is actually something that, and I don't think that would be. Like, I don't know. But that just struck me as funny because how odd that this giggle mimics radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
And is also worldwide. It would
Smurfer
be.
Girl says nuclear fallout is a hoax.
Yeah, but the poison that they use for what they're calling that nuclear reactor is still poisonous. And it's slowly killing things. And they've been on purposely killing things anyway. I mean, they dumped, I can't remember how many tons of toxic chemicals up on the Queen Charlotte coast a couple of years ago. And now we have no starfish. We used to have lots. And I'm kind of hoping here I'm going to go back and see them making a comeback. But yeah, a lot of the docks and whatnot all of a sudden lost all their crustaceans and starfish and mussels, and they became clean, clear, pristine pools sitting in the water, which is not what it should look like after 70 years of being in the ocean. It should be covered in barnacles and mussels. And
Right.
like, I swam through it lots as a kid. I know what it
Oh
should
my
look
God. Did I cut my feet up when I was young? I was
Yeah, like, you know, to wear shoes.
I was 18 and I was I went down to my Florida with my girlfriend, and we went down there to visit her father, and he lived right off the ocean. So we went up to the deck and I jumped in and stuff, and I went to swim up to the dock part to get up, and my feet scraped against the barnacles on down there. And as soon as I got up, I looked down and my foot was just blood.
Covered in blood. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had
Everybody learned.
three razor sharp cuts on my foot, really long. I still got the scars
They're
today.
glass. Yeah, they're like glass, and they're
Yeah,
very dangerous.
yeah,
My recommendation, either buy water shoes. If you can't afford that, an old pair of running shoes will work. Rubber
yeah.
bottoms. Just
Well,
assume
shit,
there's
I could have really cut myself up if I was any closer to that fucking pole. Damn, I didn't know anything about them. You know, it's actually, I think it was the first time I was down in Florida.
Yeah, oceans and whatnot are great, but if somebody doesn't go with you that's willing to tell you about all the ups and downs of the ocean, then you can seriously get hurt and or die in the ocean. Like, somebody should talk to you about riptides, how to spot them, because you don't want to go anywhere in the water near a riptide, because when you get up to about maybe calf level, it's enough to take you off your feet and suck you out in the middle of the ocean. And that's the danger. You don't want to get out in the middle of the ocean because you can panic and drown. But if you get stuck in one, there's a way to get out of one. Like, there's all sorts of different little things. I grew up here on the ocean, so I swam like a fish. So I was like half the time faster than the lifeguards as a kid.
Bill says it's microwave poisoning. You're slowly being cooked to death. Yeah, I believe that's part of it too.
Yes. I think there's so many different things at play that's actually happening. And I don't think they're telling us the truth. That's all I can say is my knowledge and my beliefs, and nothing to do with Pat or his channel. Just like every night, I have to make that disclaimer so they don't yank you down. But buy none of it.
Tomorrow I'll be able to. I'll wait one more day, but not tomorrow. But the next day, I'll be able to release our last live because I put it on private, so in case there was anything in there, they couldn't give me a strike. So not tomorrow, but the next day I'll release the last live. Because then I drop a strike on tomorrow. I get to drop a strike, so I'll be back to one strike. So
Yeah.
we'll
Just
be
don't
able.
post until tomorrow, and then you're at least safe that you're not.
Yeah, I'll be able to start not having to be so cautious on what I say for fear of being taken down because they don't like what I said.
Yeah, but still be just as cautious because nowadays they're so spectacularly wonderful that they don't always wait to do things. They can just choose to do things, and then they have that right because it's written into their terms of service, pretty much.
Right.
So many stupid things are written into that terms of service. For any time, for any reason, we could need to take out your stuff and take it over. And that's just fine. And if you don't like it, you don't get to use it, pretty much. But I've yet to read a terms of service where they don't cover their butt like that somehow.
Oxide is here.
But you know, because of all the stupid lawyers out there now that find loopholes.
Yeah. Mandel Mouse says her princesses within her are like wolves tearing their prey by shedding blood and destroying lives in order to get dishonest gain. Country Beast said ambitious have declined a lot too. There's a creek I used to catch all kinds of salamanders, and now I can't find any. Huh.
Salamanders usually go walking in the forest, not at the creek, but near the creek on the paths, and look under the wet, damp leaves. Every salamander I've ever found, that's where I found them. They're near the creek, but not quite at the creek because they're out hunting bugs.
Mm-hmm.
So my roommate had an interesting take on all of what's going on. He's in denial about being Mandela affected and drinks. And he's still stubborn, hard-headed, shuts me down a lot, doesn't want to admit it, and yet he's seeing it, and he's slowly coming around because the little bit of tidbits, when I finally get him to listen a little bit, and I'm like, look, just prove me stupid, and like, watch this and then tell me I'm crazy. And so I'll send him on little chases. I haven't yet got him to watch Frankenskies because that's a long video, and it's hard to get him to watch like a 5-minute video, never mind like an hour and something. But he sees a lot of it. He's not getting the giggles. I showed him the Georgia Guidestones, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
And then the video of Bill Gates, like 15, 20 years ago, stating that he was going to do exactly what we're going through right now to help. And he thinks that if we can just survive this, that everybody is going to be given cushy lives because they're just going to get rid of 95%. And then after that, everybody's going to get to enjoy all the technological upgrades that we can't give to everybody because we can't afford to give it to everybody. But once we get rid of 95%, if you can survive and not be eliminated, then everybody's going to get to enjoy the new luxuries. So that's why he's trying to survive.
Mm.
I don't think he fully understands, but he's part of the way there.
Yeah.
But I can only get like 2 minutes in here or there. I swear he's ADHD, and he starts drinking by like 10 o'clock in the morning. So to try and have a decent conversation with him where you can make sense is painful at best.
I don't know how anybody can drink so much.
Well,
I
he wants
can't.
to drink less now that he has a kitten because he has to live for something. So that's going to help. But it's just interesting because half the time he just doesn't want to hear anything. You're stupid, shut up, you're a conspiracy theorist. And then in the very next moment, he's pointing out all the very same things that I pointed out like 2 years ago. And I'm like, I know where you are.
Yeah,
He's a total denial of it, though.
that is true, Mandel Mile. I've also heard that all the animals died in the Giggle study. Yeah, I heard that.
Absolutely everything that they tested before humans died.
Right. Yeah.
But they said that was completely useless test because it has nothing to do with humans, and so you can't compare the two.
Oh man.
Which is their standard thing to say if all the animals die, actually, for any of these things. So it's not even something they got special for this. So sad, but true.
I just want to cry, to just think of how many people I know personally that's gotten the giggles, and it's really sad. It's really sad.
My sister got the giggles and then got diagnosed with COPD and asthma, and she's never smoked a day in her life. And she only started smoking pot like less than 2 years ago. So we know it's not from that.
Right.
And she doesn't really smoke it so much as she uses what do they call that shit now? Shatter, and a shatter pipe. So it actually vaporizes it, and she hits nothing but straight THC. So I
Oh,
don't
really?
think that's so I just thought that was hilarious because she was like deep into being into the Jehovah's Witnesses for many years into her adulthood, and then came out of it, and so like was very straight and narrow, didn't drink, didn't like, was a really good girl. So for her to come down with COPD and asthma has really bummed her out because like she should have been able to avoid all of this by being such a good girl and doing nothing. And
Yeah.
I looked at her and I said, so don't you feel a little bummed that you could have, like, had all these cool stories to tell and then come up with this? And, well, at least, you know why you got it instead of wondering what the hell. Because in the end, she still got it. But it's sort of like the football player who's 17 who dies on the field of a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not the person you expect that.
Have you seen all them videos floating around the internet that people, after getting the giggles, they got the neurological like shakes, like they're
Yeah, tons of them.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, before like they started doing this giggle thing, I've only seen one CBS episode of a girl who had gotten the giggles, and she was a cheerleader. She was like in her 20s, I think a cheerleader for one of these football teams. And she got the giggles and she couldn't walk. She couldn't walk frontwards or something? Or she walked backwards
She
or
can only
something.
walk backwards normally, and everything else made her to have the jiggles.
Yeah.
But when she walked backwards, something in her head clicked and she could walk normally.
Yeah.
I saw that too. And that was, the first one scared me a little.
And now we're seeing video after video after video. And it's like, holy man, what an explosion.
But they're not on the active books for things to study until sometime in 2022 is when they'll start looking into that. Everybody up until then don't count. Yet that's when most of the entire population is getting giggled.
Yeah.
And that alone set off bells and whistles and flags and whatnot for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Smurfer Girl, the reason I call it the giggles is because I think the algorithm has caught on to the JAB, and obviously the big V, they have the algorithm for that. So it's just like trying to be careful. Virus.
We should just start posting like this and going peace and know what we're actually talking about, because they can't get mad at peace. You just post your fingers up. Peace.
And I always say for Tiestian is the girl from Australia who said everybody must be Tiestian. Tiestian. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, this fucking chair is like, not good on the back.
So I'm in a camping chair, so mine's not good on any part of my body.
I seriously gotta get a different freaking chair.
I'm gonna have to
Just
take
sit
out
in
my
these
butt.
things for an hour and a half or so, 3 hours long. I got striking somebody else in the background of my 5-minute stream said, video is fake. So yeah, Mandel Mile Biden. Oh, get the Biden man, God, they're fucking. I think they're gonna come. You know what I think is gonna happen, you guys? I think they're gonna come out with a 4th stimulus check, and it's gonna be for like 2,000, and they're gonna say if you get the giggles, you can get your 4th stimulus check. They'll get some people that way. Money talks, and money gets you the giggles.
I'm surprised they have not done what I thought they would do and offer a get the giggles and here's a bag of marijuana.
No, they have offered that. They've offered that here.
Yeah, but they offer a little bit. They need to do is say, here's
Right. Yeah, or here's your heroin fix for a week.
They're willing to offer $1 million. I mean, you know how much I could get for $1 million? That was a lotto.
I think people would even get it if they offered them their drug of choice.
More than likely.
Yeah. There's so many ways they can get people, or they could force them.
Another one, you won't ever have to pay taxes again.
They're even coming down on the fuck, I lost it. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
What I think there's going to be their thing is they're making these cool cities, and they're really cool automated cities, but you're not going to get it unless you have been giggled. And then they're going to probably try and kill off everything outside of that area so that it's really hard for anybody who isn't inside there to live.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that'll be the way of getting everybody to willingly get it, if they have to be willing to get it.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of these new cities they're building that are sitting mostly empty right now. They have a couple hundred people living in cities meant for like millions.
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Oh, we fun. Hi, everybody. I can't see a word you're saying, so that'll make it very hard to interact. I will show more baby kittens in a little while if they're awake. They tend to sleep a lot at this stage. They've been very cute and are almost fully litter box trained. I haven't seen a mess in like 3 days. So that's good news since they're only 7 weeks today. Of course, all of my theories are just theories. I know nothing for sure, really, because, like, I don't know, they've muddled everything up and hidden so much truth in little bits here and there that it's hard to weed out what's truth, what's a distraction. A lot of distractions, though, like, it was listed as a Mandela effect when I learned about you guys giving up your military base, because that just slipped under the radar for everybody. And it's like one of your main Marine bases that was like your best defense on the entire coast for the one side, and they just gave it up. And I don't remember if it was the Atlantic or the Pacific side. I have to go back and watch the video again. But yeah, it really shocked me. But then when they were talking about a part of something else in one of the other videos, they mentioned the firmament, and it was supposed to be something to do with space and promoting their whatever they call it. And I just giggled that they actually mentioned up in the firmament, because they were mentioning the stars in the firmament. And I love that they kind of slipped and they mentioned that the stars were in the firmament. Because like, hello, I hope everybody got that when he mentioned them, because I did.
Do you think maybe the moon is a moon base?
I think the moon and the sun are fairly local, and I don't think you can get on them. I think everything they've told us about it is fiction, because everything they've ever told us is fiction. Like, I don't even believe the true size and shape of the planet, or whatever we want to call this, because they've never told us the right shape. I mean, when we were first escaping from Europe, they told us we'd fall off the edge of the earth if we traveled. Don't go, don't go. That's how they kept everybody there for so long. And finally, somebody said that they were going to prove stupid and went to go sail off the edge of the world and ended up discovering other places and continents. And so why are we believing them when they say you can't go to Antarctica, it's the end of the whatever? And it's like, we're just trusting them. And why did we ever start trusting? I don't understand, because they've never told us the truth. It's always been to keep us suppressed and whatnot. But that is the definition of government, is to control people. Just,
Yeah.
the whole point of the government is to control the people. So how do you control the people? It's sharing with the truth. It's just you manage them and herd them and steer them into the direction that you want them to go. And that's what they've been happily doing for a very long time. And we have so much Stockholm syndrome that people are attached to their countries. They will defend all sorts of things, not realizing what they need to defend is each other, because that's what's at risk, is each other. That's why they create the divide, is to keep us from uniting. And they've done it so well. I mean, they've got us all battling each other. Even when I sit and listen to people talking here, everybody always wants it's us against the other side. No, it's not. We're all fighting the same fight. They're not fighting it well, and they're not helping us much, but they're still losing just as much as we are. So they're not on opposite ends. They just don't know they're in the fight. So they're fairly useless people in our fight. But
What do you
We
think
have
is
to
going
stop
to happen?
looking at them as the enemy, because as long as we do that, we're going to lose.
Sorry, Smurfer girl. When I put it in there, I believe I tried it out and it worked. So I'm sorry about that. I'll probably put it in later. But do you believe that what do you believe as far as what is going to happen to the people who are taking the giggles? Do you think they just lose the game? They're out of the game, or
I think
do you think
those
they're
they
going to have
don't
to?
like are for
Do you
sure.
think they're going? Do you think they're going to have to relive this life again until they get it right
No, I think this is the last time around.
for everyone?
Yes. Which is why you see the panic scramble that we're living in now.
Well, what are they scrambling to do though?
Well, their time for fun and to get everybody to not be saved, because like it's sort of there with this the original whatever you can call them entities, whatever it is, are having lack of better terms, bet. They don't bet though, so it's a really bad analogy. One said I can turn everybody, and the other one said no, and then they sort of bickered over like you can't intervene, you can't prove you're there, you can't perform magic tricks, which is why you see a lot of people going, well, if he was real, prove it. Well, the whole point is to see if you're going to believe without him having to be there to coddle you the entire way. I mean, parents don't always hold the bicycle while their kids riding their bike and getting the training wheels off. Eventually, you got to let go and see if they can do it, right? Well, there is a bet a long time ago. Pretty sure somehow we were in on it because I can't see us being used without being in on it, where it was to see if there would be anybody willing to love and follow the right path of not getting into all the crap left at the end of this. And we all know the answer to that already, because like some of us just don't want to be into their bullshit crap. And like, I'm sorry if I have to do half the shit that you see out there. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, just no, I'm more content to try not to pick on people who choose to do all that stuff, but it shouldn't be forced upon me.
Mm,
And I will pray for them to get wiser, make good decisions, and love them. I will not like them and support them in their decisions. Big difference between supporting them and loving them. Just you can love your enemy. You don't have to support or like anything they're doing. You can detest them immensely, but you love them enough to pray that they come to their senses, that they make the right choice, that they that's expressing love still. You're not There are people who pray for like I wish they'd die. All that's wrong. You're supposed to pray for your enemies. In fact, pray for your enemies more than praying for your other people in your life, because your enemies are what need the most help. You're either there to teach you a lesson, or you're there to help them. And most of the time, it's through prayer, because and self-example and sometimes guidance depending on who and what they are and how close you are to the situation. I mean, for the most part, our leaders, for the most of us, unless we personally know them, all we can do is pray that they make good decisions and that somehow they come to some sort of decision that can be used for the greater good overall. But like, we can't physically just go and force them to do that as much as we would like to. I would like to go sit and have some talk with them at least and figure out how they come to half of these stupid decisions, because I'm sure it made sense to them somehow, but I can't figure out how.
If this is our last go around, why would they want control? Are these different entities that are wanting control over the human race? Or do they just want to destroy the human race?
There's always been other entities controlling the humans down here from the time we got started right through. They helped make us. So they've been here from the beginning.
So do you believe, like some people do, that we were seeded here?
It's not that we were seated here, per se. There were other people here that were humans, too. It's that there was a certain group that had something done to them, whether you want to call it what the government's doing now. I think that's the fake version of what actually happened, because they tried to mimic and create stuff like the creator. And something was changed in us to make us a slightly different whatever. I have no idea what. I don't know if it was our soul energy or if it was actually physical in the body.
I was told in school that we had a little reptilian brain thing. Believe it or not, I was told that in school, in grade school.
It's your brain stem. You know, when you look at the brain and you have the brain on the outside and then you have that ball on the inside that connects to your spine, that little ball is reptilian brain. That's your fight or flight, whatever. That's also where all of the negative, whatever voices in your head, your self-hate
comes from that. But do you think that is? Do you think that it was even real? Like they wanted us to think that we were part alien or something, or part.
Well, what it is they're trying to confuse the thing because they're coming back, and so they have to make everybody believe the aliens made us, because that's where we think now. We don't think gods and Egyptian whatever things or Greek whatever things, because they all had them. Now most people don't believe that, so they have to come up with a new one. So it's aliens, so it's the Anunnaki and whatnot, and they come from Planet 9, and we used to worship them as gods, and of course they're just adapting the story to go with where we're at now. But it's the same story over and over again, where they come back and whatnot, and when they come back they want our minerals, our gold, our diamonds, our silver, the expensive valuables will go missing. Now, I will point out that the day before 7/11 happened.
Smartford Girl says, "Who is they, Candy?"
Money. Well, some people refer to them as the Nephilim. Some people refer to them as the Anunnaki. Some people just refer to them as ETs in the sky. Some people refer to them as the angels and devils that have always been here. It's the ones who helped create us, whatever it is that is in your belief stream that was there at the beginning. And it's in most of the stuff that was sadly removed from the main parts of the current Bible everybody was given. I got my hands on the one that has most of the books that have been proven to have been removed from the Bible put back in, so that I can read a little more as to what is going on. I'm not very far into it, but
Captain Kirk is here. Hey, bud, welcome.
Yay, Star Trek! That's how I've been telling everybody to live when they ask me how I survive through all of this. I go, just pretend you're on Star Trek and you're on an away mission to a planet that's very similar to Earth, but not quite like your Earth.
I don't know if I'd say Crunchy B. Crunchy B has been here for a while.
Yes, he had. I think at the beginning, because he said hi to me like almost at the beginning.
Yeah, really. Captain Kirk says, wait for the fake alien invasion. Yeah, really. Captain Kirk says,
Well, I'm still trying to figure out
wait
whether
for
they're
the
going to
fake
be here to
alien
attack the Earth or save the Earth.
invasion. April, we got
I'm still trying to figure out whether.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yep. Well, welcome.
I got a theory for you, okay? And this is
Alright.
something this is something that nobody has ever considered. Now, I'm not saying this is true or not. I'm just saying this is a theory, okay? Because I've kind of been researching on a lot of this, okay? Everybody knows what the Georgia Guidestones are, correct?
Yep.
Everybody knows that on that Georgia Guidestones, it says they want to balance the population of, what is it, 500 million?
500 million.
Okay. They've been spraying the skies since, let's say, I would say probably roughly the 70s, correct?
Oh, probably before that, but yeah, actively.
Okay. Supposedly in these chemtrails, they've got aluminum, strontium, and barium.
Barium, among other things, yes.
All right.
Making the forest.
Everybody knows that they're working tirelessly to get what I refer to as, and I know you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this, the 5G whiz up and running, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing is the nanotechnology that they have out there. Majority of it is made out of metals, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's smart nano metal that reacts to magnets well too, by the way.
Okay. We all know we're all being surrounded by frequencies, microwave frequencies, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever seen what a piece of aluminum foil will do in a microwave if you
Uh-huh.
turn it on? Okay.
Oh yeah. I've already had this.
Let's look at this at a different perspective. Okay. Everybody's running to the giggle to save themselves. Okay. Let's say now and another thing you can look at too is I think everybody's pretty much in an agreement when it comes to any of the world governments that are in the world today. They don't give a crap who lives or who dies. Okay. For the most part. Everybody knows that as they hand out these giggles, they're keeping track of how many are going out, how many are being giggled. So they know the exact numbers. They know exact population count worldwide as to how many have went out and how many haven't. All right, so they're keeping tabs of the total numbers. So let's say they're getting close to reaching, and what I mean by that is another thing that you probably all have also noticed is it seems like once they reach a certain percentage of an age bracket, they tend to lay off that age bracket and move on to another age bracket, as if they're counting certain people in certain age brackets. Okay.
They are. And in certain countries differently.
Okay. So let's look at this as an opposite perspective. Let's say that this giggle they're giving out is actually an antidote. So all the people that might be getting the giggle may be actually getting an antidote. So when they turn on the 5G whiz, all that chemtrail, or sorry, all the stuff they've been spraying in the sky, everything that you have been consuming food wise, for the last 30 some years, all right, you have been, you have been, you have had these things showered over your head, falling on you. You have consumed all this, you know what, into your systems. So let's say, what happens once they complete the 5G whiz and it's activated? All of us that haven't been giggled, we cook like dust.
Somebody came up with that.
Okay, and then
that I
after
know of.
that, all these miraculous people that supposedly got this supposed antidote, which we all know, if you have any biblical knowledge, all right, the world's going to go in fire. So that would explain that those who don't try to save themselves are saved, and those that try to save themselves burn in death. Which would also explain, in a kind of a similarity, a rapture, wouldn't you think?
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
fun.
that's weird.
But I thought of ways of blocking the gee whiz.
I like that. So say it all over again. Make sure people get it.
Okay.
No, that's you're on.
It's basically taking this whole perspective and turning it the opposite way. Okay, I'm not saying this is true or not. This is just a theory that I've come up with. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You know, please, whatever I'm saying here, don't run out real quick and go get the giggle.
Yeah.
It's like moving us to the fifth dimension. The ones who are not getting the giggle,
Right.
we're rising up. We're rising up above this plane. So we're going into the fifth.
Think about that plausible theory, except for I think worldwide they already have more than that done with the said giggle than what is written on the stones. I heard that there have been 4 billion doses handed out.
Really?
So even if everybody took 2, which we know not everybody has, but the majority has, that's still only like 2 billion people done ish in that area. So that's way more than the number that they've got on that stone. But
Right.
they're trying for at least 10% of every population by September on the planet, no matter what country you're in, at least 10%. Some countries as low as only 1.5% of their population, which
Right. Well,
right on.
like I said, this is just a theory that I thought of. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's
it's
it
just
sounds like a
looking at
very
it from a whole
plausible one.
different another. It's nothing more than looking
I
at
look
it
at it
at a whole
kind of
different.
reversed though, where when they crank that on, maybe everybody who has it is going to drop like flies, because that would be the best way to get rid of 95% of your population, since that sounds like the number they're going for to get vaccinated. I think
And
they could get 80% of Canada
I
done.
agree with that, but the reason why I'm throwing this perspective in is because if you really look at what these governments are doing, and it's not just here in the States or in Canada or in Europe, you know, I mean, they're blatantly making it obvious they don't give a crap about the population, so it doesn't matter which side goes. All
Well,
right,
to be
they're
fair,
still going to
I
have to
don't think there's a
maintain.
population anywhere in the planet that thinks that they actually control their government either, which is really a scary thought, because up until a few years ago, both Canada and the United States still thought that they had some control of their government, and we all knew that was a lie, but at least now nobody really seems to think they have any control. So that's
Right.
I'm like, well, it's
I've
a baby
noticed-
step in the right direction, but
I'm personally noticing a lot more blasphemy, 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 blasphemy,
Blasphemy.
blasphemy.
Oh yeah.
The open hatred of
All around.
churches right now, especially in Canada, is soaring through the roof because they are pushing the narrative of the bad church that killed all the Native children.
Yeah,
And so
I've
everybody's hating the churches and burning the churches here.
right. I've seen that. I've seen articles and have seen stories on that. I think the last I seen, they had a total of almost, what was it, 56 churches either burned or vandalized, and the majority of them were Catholic.
Catholic and Protestant.
Yeah.
Which were both the ones running the schools that were doing said horrific things to children. So
Right.
it kind of makes sense, but still they're wrong people again, because the people in the building that are currently there did nothing to the children. Nor would they. So, like, what the crap? You're punishing. That would be like somebody coming and beating the crap out of you because your grandpa did something in 1935.
Right.
Like, does that make any sense?
No.
That's what we're doing as a society, and they're saying it makes sense, and everybody's backing it, and it's stupid. It's kind of like slavery. Nobody wants slavery to happen. We all condemn it and think it's bad, poo-poo it, we hate it, whatever. But like, they still want everybody to be punished. Where it's like, we didn't do it. We had nothing to do with it. If we were back then, we would have helped you. Trust me. But
Right.
I can't prove that unless you have a time machine in which let's go back and let's change it, okay?
Right. But I just wanted to share that because some of the things you were talking about and that I thought, that this is a theory that you might want to throw out. I mean, it sounds as wild as it sounds, but you got to keep in mind that
if you're worried about that, gee whiz at all, look up Sparrow Clothing.
Sparrow Clothing.
Yeah, it's a clothing line that actually blocks said gee whiz.
Yeah, I've seen
get it
seen
so
stuff
that there's
on
a place
that.
for your phone. You can get beanies. You can get basic clothing. China's been doing it for pregnant people for years because it's against the law not to. If you're pregnant, you must wear that kind of clothing.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Bill, are you Mandela affected?
Myself?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I believe in the Mandela effect. I think one of the biggest Mandela effects was JFK.
Yeah. So you see the
No doubt.
Mandela effect.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So where do you think we are? What do you think happened? Like me personally, I believed like in 2016 I had to have passed away from kidney failure, and I woke up like you I believe that you never passed away. So I woke up, or I just I came out of the coma in this timeline. Wherever I am somewhere different than I was in 2016. I feel that. I just don't know. But I'm asking you, have you had any sort of thing like that in your death experience, or
Not really personal-wise. I mean, I see the signs, don't get me wrong. I mean, you're seeing biblical changes in the Bible. JFK was another one. The Volkswagen emblem's another one. The one that I don't I'm skeptical about, that I've heard about, is the American flag, because I was in the military and we were trained and explained. We were trained and explained that when you've got one color under the sea of blue, that's peacetime. When you've got the other color under the sea of blue, that's wartime. Okay. That's one that I'm skeptical about. But the others, yeah, no doubt.
That flag was with the red underneath there. To me, were my timeline. That meant that we shed blood, a lot of it, for America or
Right.
our veterans. You know,
Right.
so and that flag with that red underneath there looks mean as hell. Mean.
Right.
With the white under there, it looks weak.
Right.
It looks weak.
Right.
Yeah, it looks weak.
Well, yeah. I mean, seriously, when you think about it, what do most of them do in wartime when they give up? Fly a white flag.
Well,
Right.
you're all
But,
missing the obvious of the flag has changed
Yeah.
more than that, because if there used to be 52 states, then it used to have 52 stars.
Yeah, Captain Kirk also said it was a red stripe called the Bloodline stripe. He
right.
said he was veterans. Yeah,
Yep.
yep. That's what I was.
But to answer your question about what I think happened, the only thing that I come up with what I've researched and what I saw is I think a lot of it has to do with CERN. That's my opinion of it. I think a lot of it had to do with CERN. I don't know a whole lot about CERN. I don't know how long they've had it active, how many times they've actually lit it up. You know, but I think that at one point in time,
Even if it
I
does
think
have anything to do with CERN, if it does have anything to do with CERN, it opened a wormhole for the whole, for us who see the Mandela effect, or maybe all of us have gone through a wormhole and into a different dimension, and
that very well could be.
or I mean, different. If you're on a different timeline, whoever makes up, like, say, Captain Crunch, they were on from. They made it decide to say Captain like it's supposed to be Captain Crunch, not Captain.
Cap'n Crunch, right?
It sounds
See, and
like
there's
I want to put a cap in your ass or
yep,
something. You know?
yep. And
I've
as a kid, I
never.
remember that also, because as a kid, I remember eating a lot of Cap'n Crunch.
I love Cap. You remember Captain or Captain?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I remember seeing Captain. I loved Captain Crunch. I ate that shit like no other. The peanut butter Captain Crunch. Oh
yeah,
my god. Awesome.
yeah. That was the best. But yeah, that's my theory on that. I don't know. My theory is at one point in time, I can't say when, I can't, but I think at one point in time when they lit that thing up, they broke through something, and it has massively screwed everything up. One of the biggest things I notice in my life today, from being younger to being older today, is how quick the days are shortened. I mean, the days seem so short anymore these days. I mean,
yeah, they go by really fast.
really fast, really fast. And I mean, in all honesty, just by the days shortening as quick as they have, and what I've seen and remembered in my lifetime, and seeing what I'm seeing today, I mean, that right there in itself is an alternate of reality right there. Because I mean, I know I'm not the only one that sees it. I hear it all the time.
Oh,
The
yes.
people are so
Here's a way to
amazed
prove
about
it to
how
people.
much the days have shortened.
Here's a way to prove it's shortened to people. Do you remember as a kid counting, and you were taught to count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi?
Yeah, and
You do that now, that does not keep up with time. You are too slow.
No,
Right.
not at all.
and
Time goes faster here.
this Earth is smaller because I can get from one destination to the other a lot faster.
Yes, it is.
And
From one side of America to the other. Last time somebody physically noticed a difference, it was about 1,000 miles shorter between the two.
And I've heard that too. Yes.
Because I've traveled a lot of places since 2016, since I was Mandela affected, and every place I seem to drive to, it's not only am I recognizing or feeling that it's a shorter distance that I used to drive, I'm also seeing it on the GPS. I'm
Oh,
always
yeah.
arriving there before the GPS still has miles on it. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's
You being a
just
left foot?
what? Yeah. No, I am a left foot. I got a couple speeding tickets in the last 3 months.
Well, that'll get you there
Um,
before your GPS says you're going to get there too. Just so you know.
but yeah, but I'm talking about, you know, you're driving 8 hours or whatever.
Yeah, but I experienced it as a miracle, so I didn't count it as a Mandela effect because I was running late and there was no way I was going to make my appointment. We were driving between Saskatchewan and Alberta, which I don't know if you understand that, but that was be like driving like across an entire state where you guys are at. And there was no way we were going to make it. We started 2 hours late and we ended up making it on time, even though we did not speed. Somehow, miraculously, while being chased by a tornado cloud.
Yeah, there's I really don't, I really can't say. I don't know. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, you know, like we were just talking about, you know, what's the times, what's the days being shortened. I mean, it's just everything just seems to be happening at warp speed.
That
That's the
also
only thing.
sadly is
That's the only thing I can. That's the only
predicted in the
conclusion I
Bible.
come up. Yeah.
Near the
Pardon
time
me?
of the end, time will be sped up so that man will still exist at the end, because otherwise nobody will survive.
Right.
Another thing I noticed is fucking karma comes around a whole lot faster. I remember when karma used to take years. Now fucking karma. I've seen karma show up within hours.
Oh yeah.
And I'm karma coming in seconds after something happens, which is like
every day to be on my best behavior and like not do anything wrong, not cheat anybody, not
I've
do
chased people down
anything.
to give them a quarter because I didn't even want to short them a quarter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or
they don't understand
or like
why.
You walk out of the grocery store with a freaking case of water on the bottom that you totally forgot was underneath there, and the person
and pay for it.
Yeah, you got to turn around and go in and pay for it. Not that it happened to me, but I'm just saying that that's the kind of stuff like what has happened to me, where the one guy I was giving a ride to, who I just picked up at a fucking gas station, who everybody's screaming at me, don't give people rides like that. You don't know them. Well, I mean, yeah. So anyways, this guy gives me a few dollars and it's all crumpled up. So I go in to pay for the gas and there's a 20 in there. And I knew he didn't mean to give me a 20. So I gave it back to him. I said, I don't think he knew that this was in there. And he's like, oh, thank you. But I mean, stuff like that. I don't want any bad karma. I know that I'm probably still paying for karma from my
the good stuff life. Will also pay you back. That's the thing, is you will get paid back for the good stuff too. Doing the right thing will pay. It just doesn't seem like it.
I agree with that, Cammie. I agree with that. Yeah.
When you know, it was really needed is when it'll come to pay you off, and all the people that you didn't screw over are going to come to bat for you.
I've seen it come to me when I had the big fire, you know, and everything. I lost everything. People were so nice, you know. So yeah. That is a wonderful thing.
You know, Patrick, I seen that too, and in all honesty, you know, in this last year, you've been through a lot of hell.
Yeah,
And-
having shingles
and-
on my fucking face.
and to be able to see as many people that stepped up when you were in need, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that was a prime example to let you know and a lot of others know that there are still good people in this world.
Yeah.
Even though all the radical, out of your mind, crazy ass shit that you see in this world every freaking day, there's still good people in this world.
They're still the minority made to look
Yep.
like the majority. Now,
Yep.
don't get me wrong. Push come to shove, the most people would choose that side. But for the most part, most people just want to exist and be left alone.
Right. And I
And if
watched.
we could just get rid of TVs and cell phones, I think
Yeah.
we could probably get back to that. But I
girl,
don't
you're
think we
welcome
could
to come in
do
and
that.
talk.
I watch a lot of prepper channels, and I hear that out of a lot of them there too. You know, all these people want to do is just live their lives and be left the hell alone. You know, and that the majority of us, I would hope to think that that's the way a lot of us feel. But you know, it's I don't
So-
know.
Yeah.
You guys might get privy to an argument. I have two people fighting in the background. So if you hear yelling, it's not me.
Is it your next door neighbors?
No, it's two people leaving a park. I have a park over there. It's a huge
Oh,
park and people walk it all the
They're in
time. Yeah. Well, we have homeless people that live in the park, and then we have people that frequent the park, and then we have the drunks that walk through the park to get home. And it's a pleasant neighborhood. Half the
But
time,
yeah,
homeless people are the least of the problems. Some of them are a big problem, but not all of them are a big problem. And I try
yeah.
for the most part to give them all.
Like I was telling Patrick earlier in chat, I seen that earlier today where they landed an A-10 Thunderbolt on M32 in Michigan today. It was the National Guard. It's part of their yearly Operation Northern Strike that they have up there every year. But I've seen reports and I've heard from other people that that's going on all over the country.
There's
So,
something to go down soon, apparently,
getting ready
and I
for
only
something.
suggest that because somebody tried to post about an alert that was sent to him recently, and he suggested that maybe that was a signal that something might go down soon. And that video was yanked off of YouTube, and they said he was causing some sort of something. Panic, and it fell under the terrorist and or causing mass panic, whatever act, and that they had to remove the video.
Wow.
And I'm like, did you hit a nerve?
Yeah.
But he's pissed off, wants to leave YouTube now.
Yeah, it's quite amazing how a personal opinion can turn you into a domestic terrorist.
Well, everything turns you into a domestic terrorist. If you've ever served your country, you're a domestic terrorist. If you have more than 7 days worth of food in your house, you're considered a terrorist. I'm like, what? So people who like are living on welfare are terrorists because they have to buy food for a month?
Right.
So what,
Right.
what's supposed to happen?
I don't think I'm scared of them. They don't have anything.
Hey,
I don't consider them a big threat.
what's supposed to happen? I heard something down the grapevine too. I think they were talking August 11th. But I don't know
Who
what
knows? They're priming people for aliens so much that I'm wondering when the aliens are coming. I'm waiting for them to come because if they declare they're peaceful, I'm going to insist they become our new taxi and airline service. Because if you can have UFOs that can get you across the world in 5 minutes, fuck airlines.
Welcome, Surfer Girl.
Hi. Thank
How you
you.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Welcome, welcome.
So, do you have any insight on what we were talking about?
Probably.
Probably.
It's all exciting. I like every topic you've had in the last hour.
Oh, really? Thank you.
It's good stuff. I like that I like your channel, Patrick, because different opinions can go, butt heads,
Mhm.
and it's still okay. It's friendly, conversation. Nobody's going to get mad. That's
Well,
the
that's
good
all
stuff.
theories. So, you got to throw all the theories on the table so we can all know what to choose from because
Yeah. And when
how else
everybody
are we learning?
agrees, then nobody's learning anything.
Well, that's the thing, right? We got to throw all the things because I'm sure it's snippets of all of it, really. Like everybody will learn something a little bit from each thingy, and then we can really piece it together.
Right. That's the only
What we're
reason
here
why
for.
I participate in a lot of this is because to learn. You know, I
Well, we're
I
all
know
getting
I
different
would
bits.
never
That's the
claim
thing.
that I have all the answers. Never claim that I have all the answers. You know, I
You do things your way
base what I
and through
think.
your
I base what I
experiences,
think, and
and
I
nobody
base my
gets that
opinion
except
on the
for
research.
you. So we need
Hold
your
on,
experience so
on.
we can learn from it. And we need
Guys,
Smurf for
talk
his
over it.
experience.
I heard you, Bill. I heard you both. You're right. Yeah. Because we all have our own subjective experience
Yes.
that influences our opinion or our view or what we find to be true.
Some people in a matter speaking, they kind of take offense in some instances with some of the things that in the theories and some of the things I come up with is because I'm kind of a spiritual person in a matter of speaking, and what I'm seeing going on in this world today, and reading and researching some of the books, and in Revelation, I mean, you can go in Revelation as far as my opinion is now, and it's like reading the front page of the morning newspaper.
Honestly,
Where I come from, it was Revelations. It had S on it. So I always know it's always for me Revelations. Sorry, go ahead,
Right.
Smart.
it just for me, it depended on like what kind of church I was at. Like Revelations was Baptist. I had a lot of Baptist like step family, but that wasn't until I was a teenager. But I was raised Pentecostal, and it was Revelation. And
Yeah,
sorry,
see,
I've been losing my voice for a couple days.
that's kind of where I spent most of my time at, was in Pentecostal and Baptist churches.
Yeah. I was,
They
but then I
all
was.
have Revelations in every Bible that
Nowadays, nowadays I won't step foot in a church.
Oh no,
They're all corrupt.
Me either. Yeah,
yeah.
no.
I felt like that for a long time. I don't
Yeah,
think it
I've
matters
always-
what dogma you adhere to. If you adhere to any, like we can universally notice that going
Right.
on.
I've always thought that I can talk to God anywhere I want. I don't need to be inside the building. And all them people that did go to church, they were, talking behind people's back and gossip,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I thought, what, I'm getting mixed signals here. So I always preferred to just be outside and talk to God or whatever.
To
Right.
go back to your question that you asked me earlier, Patrick, on life experiences and Mandela effect. This probably doesn't have anything to do with Mandela effect, but one thing that has always stuck to me most of my life is, as I was growing up, my mother told me on 3 different occasions that I would most likely see the end of the world.
Mhm.
And I took that to heart in a lot of things that I experienced growing up in life. And then when I look and when I see what's going on in the world today, I mean, I'm starting to really wonder.
I always told myself that too when I was a kid. For some reason, I had the thought that I was going to see the end of the world, the end times, it's not the end of the world, but that I would be there at the end and I would never die. I always had a feeling I would never die. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm the weirdo that thinks we're in the little season. Like, no.
No, you're not the only one.
I mean, if you
Algo
look
thinks we're
around at the Earth and what it was just a few years ago, like mid 1800s, how glorious and beautiful and uniform and just astonishing to the eyeballs the architecture was in every country, every land, and it was all the same, and it was just mind-blowing. And then it was turned into this melted, disgusting wasteland, and they're still destroying buildings that might give us some kind of clue. And the ones that do remain are used as a tool of, satanic deception. And I don't know.
What do
If
you
you
think
look,
is over where they're hiding, where humans can't even go? Over, I forget what the Arctic.
Antarctica, yeah,
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think they're hiding over there?
the way out or the way in.
Honestly, you want my opinion on what they're hiding in Antarctica? I think what they're hiding in Antarctica is all the answers to all your questions. So take it for what it's worth.
To what questions?
Well, everybody look at the big thing they're talking about now about the quote UFO and alien invasion and all this
Yeah.
garbage. Okay.
You're right.
You also got the fact of look how many people have grown, and just I would probably have to say at least in the last 10-15 years of the flat earth theory that didn't believe before. I mean, look how relevant it is now out in social media.
I think that is a blessing, of an unintentional blessing. This technology that's been given to the world in with the intention of creating this one world community that would naturally lead to a one world acceptance of, government, one world government.
Right.
There's always going to be this, unintentional consequences and side effects and whatever you want to call it. And I think this communication that we weren't able to have on such a grand scale before, and to share ideas and knowledge and understanding that's been there in, bits and pieces in the whatever way we could gather it, we can put it all together, and we couldn't do that before. And they obviously didn't want that to happen, but
yeah, there's a lot of truth to that.
so, you have the wars from the 80s on, and even the uniform change in the military, the United States military going from the regular camo to the desert camo before they ever were in a desert fighting. Like, they did that ahead of time. That's sort of the same thing as before the whole.
Well, to kind of explain some of that, I was in the military for 6 years, and the years that I served was 83 through 89. And in 85, there was a deployment and an operation that was called Operation Bright Star, and I participated in that, and it was the biggest rapid number deployment in the history of NATO that ever was done. And what I mean by that is we were able, between the United States and our NATO allies, to put over 500,000 soldiers and troops and equipment in the Middle East in a 28-hour span. And once in that 28-hour span, we had everything there, we had everything set up, and we were combat ready. And that went on shortly after Reagan bombed the shit out of Gaddafi in Libya.
Oh.
Yeah, don't you think that there's a reason that they had a war over there?
No.
They may have
Well, you
been
know
looking
why
for
Gaddafi
something?
was outed. Sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, because he wouldn't go along with the system. He wanted his own money.
Yes, he was doing some good stuff. He was trying to, drop the petrodollar and
That's
liberate
exactly why
his
they went
people.
after him. Right there.
Same
You
thing
said
with
it in a
Saddam
nutshell.
Hussein.
Anybody that's went
they were
against the
nothing like we're told.
petrodollar has been attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
so,
have you seen he goes to the what's the name of the Arabic Council? It's like the Middle Eastern Islamic UN sort of thing. I don't know if it's based on Islam particularly or Middle East. I know I'm like being so ignorant, not remembering the name of it. But before Gaddafi
Taliban?
was no. It's a group of multiple countries.
Oh, the European Union?
No, it's an Arabic version, Middle Eastern version. Gosh darn it. Anyway, he's standing there and you have like the princes of Saudi Arabia just smirking and chuckling, like just going, under their breath. He's pleading with all of these nations, like, look what they just did to Saddam, and they're doing it to me now.
Yeah.
And they just sat there and just snickered. They just had this evil, dead face, like vacant eyeballs, nothing in there, no humanity. All profit driven, ego.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now
But
the way they're
what we saw
spending
on TV,
money,
Islamic Cancel. Thank you, Mad Pyman.
now the way they're spending money is like they're all out just for the agenda now. The money means nothing at this point. They're trying to get this agenda going through where everybody's got the giggles. Hey, Mad Pyman.
Have you seen just how much money is in Saudi Arabia?
No, I couldn't even imagine.
It's ridiculous. And it's the place where they will literally bend over to Israel. They don't care. They already have. And they'll just anything that will advance their narcissistic status, I suppose.
Yeah.
I know that's really not even
I
touching.
heard Israel's got control of pretty much the whole world.
I think that's, you know what? I used to think that.
Well, right now, in all honesty, they're just about to become the technology capital of the world.
Really?
Well, if you look at it from a Talmudic point of view, like a evangelical description of the Talmud, where they say that, a goyim, we're non-human. If you're not a Jew or a Noahide, then you're less than a dog in rights. And that would be, the Sanhedrin, the council. The Sanhedrin is what runs Israel right now, but they want to instill like proper temple sacrifices, and they actually had a proper temple sacrifice last year, or was it the year before even? This whole like plan scamic thing has just got me all wrecked on time, but they want to have 70 major nations of the world, and this is what I can't find a full. I'm still like I see the evidence for all of this as being legitimate, but at the same time I can't find a full concrete evidence on this being solidly true. I see, circumstantial evidence for it. But they have the underground chambers, based on what would be called, you know, the Freemasonic temple structure under
Right.
the Temple Mount.
Right.
The 70 seats, and you know, so they want the 70 major regions of the world. I'm sorry, I'm like trying so hard to not blank out on my vocal cords. But so they got a lot of like Latin American nations, countries to sign on to that agreement for the enforcement of Noahide law, and this was before this whole current situation started.
Right. Right.
And I don't know, you know, I have tried as I have, it's been a while, but I haven't found a full list of which countries signed on to it. And I know Central America, South America, like that's the region where a lot of them were like, yeah, but if you look at it, it's like places like I don't know if Venezuela made the final list, but they it's the places that were flipped upside down, you know, guns taken away, privileges as a citizen having any kind of human right. And so they're starving. Of course, they're going to agree to all kinds of things they wouldn't have before.
Right. Right. In my experience, that when I was over there and what I seen, it's probably one of the most brutal areas on the earth.
Yeah. Yes. Nicaragua, I think, is one of them also. They just are, and look, oh gosh, look at Cuba right now. They're starving to death. They cut off their internet, like utilities all over the country. So they can't communicate. Yeah, they cut their freaking internet. I don't know if they have, I think some pockets of Cuba has internet back.
Wow.
But they shut off the internet. They shut off electricity and gas and water, fresh water in some places. It's kind of, it's like spotty. It's,
Wow.
I don't know. It depends on where you get your
I haven't heard
news.
any of that.
Yeah. And so what happened, they actually went into the grocery stores and pulled the stuff off the shelves. And I wouldn't say this if I didn't see evidence for that. Like, because that can really trigger people into like a panic, fear porn. I hate that. I hate when people say something without seeing it actually occurring. But I did see people not being allowed into grocery stores and like shelves being not empty and stuff being thrown into bins and removed. So when people got into the stores, they couldn't get anything if they broke in. And I don't know how widespread that was. I only saw maybe, I think, 2 where I could really feel like that's what was actually going on. But so the upper authorities like just jetted themselves out of there, you know, so they didn't have to be held responsible and persecuted for it.
Right.
It's like a genocide. There's a freaking genocide going on there. And I feel like right now, unless I'm just utterly deceived, it's a test of us because we're so close. It's like we could get on a boat and go rescue some people. And then what's the position of that fucker? Sorry, Patrick, that said if you're in Cuba, now's not the time to immigrate or whatever his verbiage was. Like, don't try to come to the United States right now. You won't come. You won't make it. You know, it's like you won't get here. It's like we're not going to let you get here. Like, don't get on your raft and try to float your babies over because you're starving to death. Sorry, bad luck.
Yeah, I didn't hear any. I don't even hear.
That's been going on for a while.
I didn't even hear the alternative stations talking about it.
Yeah, they're not allowed. You know, a lot of people won't talk about it because they don't want to lose their channel. Screw that shit.
Right.
Screw that shit.
Going on. There's a lot of that going on.
Who cares?
Yeah.
We're not allowed to leave Australia at the moment. No one's allowed to get on a plane and fly anywhere now. So they just
Are you even allowed to leave your house?
Oh, we're in lockdown now as of 8 p.m. yesterday because of 6 cases.
6 whole cases.
6 whole cases. Yeah.
Are they still using the PCR test on you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an 80% false positive.
Oh, it was never designed to detect any illness.
Of course not.
So yeah,
Didn't anybody learn
it's a
from
complete
the
fraud.
what was the guy's name? I don't even want to say any of it because like the AI gets uber triggered.
Carrie Mullis.
The guy, no, the guy
Carrie-
from the
Carrie-
HIV, the original dude. Like, don't even like this is ridiculous. If you just worry about it, you're gonna test positive. Same thing right now with this.
Yeah, no, I heard that guy. I heard the guy actually that
He said it in interviews.
made
He
the
exposed.
test. I heard
He
him
exposed.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He exposed. Fauci.
It'll pick up.
Back in the 80s with about AIDS.
Yeah,
It's
That's what the test was.
It's
That's
a
what the
test that
test
will
was.
pick up anything.
That's what the test was designed for originally. Yeah.
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Right.
And after he like realized what exactly was going on, he started doing lectures to nurses and doctors like, don't even give people, don't even say it, don't do this. You're
It's 'cause he
condemning
couldn't
these
find-
people.
Yeah, there's no It was no correlation. He couldn't prove any connection. It just be, the CDC just announced that they found it with his test, but without any evidence. He couldn't find any evidence.
Oh, I read my
once he
own.
started standing up, I suppose that's when they started to persecute him, wasn't it?
I reamed my own pharmacist out because he's the one that gives people the gifts in that pharmacy. And I said I wanted the insert for the giggles, and the lady said, "Well, we don't have an insert for it." And I said, I thought by law the pharmacist had to have an insert to tell what ingredients were in it. And that's when the pharmacist came over by me and started talking to me. And he tried to hand me this 3-page letter about the giggles, and and it was all the propaganda that they print out for you. They don't tell you the truth; they just print them propaganda things out. But usually, you can get the insert for any
You have to.
giggles. Yeah,
They can't give you. They can't give you an insert
But
because
I think the loophole they're using is that this is experimental.
it's not
not
what they
approved.
claim it to
Yeah.
be. It's not
That's
what they claim.
exactly what the pharmacist said. And
That's the
and then he goes, I got it. I'm fine. So I'm just
So
like,
far.
Did his needle bend?
That's
Yeah,
on
well-
you. I said that's on you. If you got the information, you know what you're doing, what you're putting in people. And I left it at that. And he was like, "Okay, do you need any more information?" I'm like, "No, you're not giving me any information." So
You're not giving me any.
I've been here 20 minutes and you still have not given me any information.
They can.
Just kept saying how he got it. Yeah. Well, I thought I'd try.
Yeah.
They're so blind, they're willing to do it. Or they're
Crazy part
lying.
is the crazy part. Apart from the fear-based propaganda that's shoved in our faces, via the social media and news sites.
Where it's almost like they already took something because they have no common sense anymore.
Yeah, in reality, nobody sees anybody sick. Nobody knows anyone who's died from it or is sick. Everybody's fine. Everybody's probably healthier than they've ever been. The people that have that choose to breathe and not suffocate themselves, they've been they've been healthier than they've ever been in their whole lives.
Less
And,
people
hospital-
died than typical. Like
Yeah,
the
and hospitals
national
are empty.
average here. Less
Yeah,
people.
the overall deaths have gone down. Hospitals are still empty. Oh,
And
they're getting filled
miraculously,
now.
there's no influenza.
And there's no
Yeah.
flu. The flu just flew
Yeah.
away.
It just got, it's like, oh, I can't even compete with that.
Yeah. And people can't work that out. The flu disappeared
Oh,
For the first
gosh,
time in
they,
100
God, it
years.
makes me want to vomit. They're like, oh, it's because everybody has their mask on.
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
it's
because they're doing the
working.
right thing.
Ugh.
Yeah. But the
Come
heebie-jeebies is
on.
far worse. It's far worse. You don't want to get the heebie-jeebies. It's just dumb.
You don't want to
It's
get the
just-
fungalitis.
Yeah, it's just dumb. So yeah, I don't know anybody who's sick. There's no evidence in my world that I can see anywhere. And that's what everyone would be saying if they were honest with themselves. There's no evidence
Yeah.
for any pandemic anywhere that you know anyone can find. So why would you take an experimental jab just believing what
If
they
this
tell you?
isn't the great delusion all over the
It
world,
is.
I don't know.
It is.
I believe so too, because
is.
I never thought the whole world would be. I mean, there's obviously the certain percentage that's not going with it, but a majority of the world believes in this, believes that this shit's gonna kill you. And I just want to say, go out and get some fresh air, because there's nothing out there that's going to hurt you.
No, that's right. Yeah, won't
Before
kill you.
COVID, before even they blew up the numbers of COVID, you're just as, breathing the same damn air that you were breathing 5 years ago.
There's so many.
So
There's so many problems with their story, though, man. You know, they could have sporting events, but you couldn't march for freedom. You could go to government approved concerts and sporting events and whatever was going on, because it was corporate sponsored, and corporations run everything.
You
Honestly,
can't have
you guys in Australia are worse off than China right now.
That was fine, but because people were, families were getting together and having barbecues and spending time with each other, they became super spreaders, and that's how it's spread in the community, and it's everybody who likes oxygen and freedom. It's all their fault. That's why there's so many cases. That's the narrative now.
You
So,
freedom-loving terrorist.
No, it's crazy.
Mad Pyman, if they say that they're gonna in order for you to keep your job, you gotta take the giggles. What you gonna do?
I know. I've got a couple of suggestions that I picked up on, man. One about telling if your employer demands it for your employment. Yeah, you get them to agree to sign a legal document giving them complete ownership of any injury that you may, receive, including death, right? And they'll agree to insure you for, I don't know, $1 million. Then they'd have to pay that out on your death, or compensation, in a form, in some form for any injury that you receive, and make it a proper legal document. And if they don't agree to sign it, well, there's no contract. It's no deal.
Yeah, there's a certain amount here too for under the color of the law is what it's called, like a representing the law, like a police officer.
Using their law, and we've still got an anti-discrimination act under the Human Rights Charter, and that still stands. We've still got we still have to be given informed consent before we can be, and our bodies are still ours. They don't own us. They're just trying to convince everybody that they better do it. But we still have rights.
They've admitted here that they can't enforce and
it's an experimental
mandate
medical procedure. If you don't agree to be a part of an experiment, there's nothing they can do about it. How can they mandate that?
Yeah, but they're just gonna, they're gonna air quote use loopholes, but you're consenting to their loopholes if you don't say, wait a minute.
Yeah, you have to give written consent to get jabbed here. Yeah, that started this year with the flu jab. Even if you want the flu, before there was nothing, you didn't have to sign anything. You just they put your name down on the list, and when the doctor came to work, all the people just went in, every 10 minutes and got the jab and a lollipop, and went back to work, But now, they've got consent. You have to sign a consent form and give written consent, even for that. So they're definitely worried.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
wonder what's.
I see everybody has their paperwork when I go into this pharmacy that they have to sign. They're basically signing their souls away.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sad.
You're signing away any protection that you might have had, when you sign that as well. So.
In March
Yeah.
here, I saw a gym that was declining new memberships for anyone who had the giggles because
Oh,
you're
really?
an insurance liability. Yeah, you're a danger to the other people there.
Well, yeah, that's a theory too, but I think people are just doing that out of principle. That's starting to happen.
Well, I mean,
a lot.
even if it's not based on biological reality, it's still somebody doing something,
Yeah, it's just standing up against the system. Yeah, sure. And the reason that we're in this situation is because too many people just bend over and take it. Whatever the government tells them, all right, I'll have to do it. I don't want to get a fine, and I might get sent to jail. They might take my business license. Well, some people, did stand up, and it did happen to them, as in Mac. And but he's a leading light. He's being an example to other people, and if other people stood up, they wouldn't be able to do it to him. If there was more people who said, no, I don't care what you say, I'll follow your rules, and and we'll stick to your protocols. But I'm not going to go along with this bullshit. I'm going to keep my business open because I need an income, because that's how I support my family, pay for my house, the roof over my head, my food, and the necessities of life. That you're taking people's livelihoods away with this bullshit, and we know that's why they're doing it, really, isn't it? Mm-hmm. They're breaking society down.
Well, I heard rumors that they're already trying to they're already trying out UBIs in some states already. So yeah.
Wow. There must be high unemployment.
Well, I'm gonna hang it up here. I got to get up in a couple hours, so I am starting to doze. I appreciate you guys all coming on and being on. As always, it's
you letting me in here.
Great.
And
love you, Smurfer girl. I love it when you come on.
Same.
So,
yeah, it was nice talking to you, Smurfer Gill. It was good to see you again, Mad Pie Man.
It's good to see you,
bro. My words to you is bless you all and stay strong and stay safe. Because in all honesty, I think this is just the beginning. This is just the tip.
Unless we come timeline, so we're in for some serious shit.
I'll just leave you with this. Yeah, a lot of people here that never would have even considered protesting before. Mums and dads, middle, lower income earners, and even all walks of life. People that never thought to question anything the government ever told them. They're now standing up and they're saying enough's enough. We can't live like this anymore. So
that's good.
The tide's turning.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that spreads.
If
I wish
the people in the position to, like pharmacists and doctors, to not do this said no, the whole thing would be over in a day.
Yeah.
The sellouts continue.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And all the brave.
All right. Well.
Yeah. We bashed the.
All right. You take care of yourself, Patrick. You too, Pie Man. You too, Spurfer Girl.
Thanks, Bill.
Night,
Thanks,
guys.
Pat.
Good night.
See you later.
Thanks for having me, Patrick.
See you, mate.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Furfer Girl. See you later, Mad Pieman. I don't know. The computer's running really slow. So I'm back again. Oh.